Real life street stars. We're in here with Antwuan Jackson. What's up, man?
What's going on with you, Playboy?
Chilling, man. Antwuan Jackson is the author, man. The book we're here to discuss is The Price.
Yes, sir.
Man, tell us where you from, first of all.
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, and growing up in Austin, what made becoming an author first and foremost? When did you want to become or delve into that?
I think it was just natural. It was just something that I just started doing. I would write down different stuff that would be going on, growing up and stuff like that. And I was into movies and any type of magazine I'd see it. Back in the day, I'd always pick it up and read it and kind of imagine, some of the stuff, what I'd see when I was reading it. So, I always would just feel like I was really descriptive when I was writing. So
was it more so someone that inspired you, like an author that inspired you to do it, or maybe like a movie star or a director that you kind of just was liking his stories that made you want to tell certain kind of stories?
Coming up as a kid, someone inspired me as an author. No, you know what I'm saying. I'm from the ghetto. Nobody was writing books. You know what I'm saying. We were barely even reading books. It was never a book in my house. I started really reading like when I got in my early mid-20s, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
That's when I really started reading. And some of the books that I would read is like Anthony T. Browder and stuff like that. But none of the type of book that I've written. It's not many books that I've read that are like that. So,
okay.
But yeah,
Definitely, we're gonna get more on that as far as upbringing. But it's with the book, The Price. What is The Price? Tell us, without, of course, it's a book that we want everyone to read, everyone needs to get into. But tell us the conception of it. Give us, I guess, minor details that you may want us to know as far as going into it, and just how the book came about.
well, just the word "the price" itself, or just that phrase, how people always say, how they would never sell. I would never sell my car, or I would never sell this house, so on and so forth. But somebody comes along with the right amount of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was their price. Not everybody has a price, but most people do. And so it's the same thing when you're in relationships. Some people say they'll never cheat on their girlfriend. I never cheat on my wife. I never cheat on my husband. I never cheat on my boyfriend. But the right person comes along and they cheat. Whoever that person is that they cheated with, that was their price.
So The Price is about a relationship.
Right.
Can you tell us about the characters in The Price?
The main character is Dwight. That's what the story follows him throughout the book. And so he's an African American. He's in his early 30s. He's actually a lawyer, and he's actually the only African American lawyer on the law firm that's a partner.
Right.
And so he's had a lot of failed relationships. And one of the main common denominators in every relationship that he's ever had is that every female that he's met and dated and went out with, one of the main things that they did was always, anytime they got into any type of disagreement or argument, they went and told their uncle, their aunt, their sister, their cousin, their brother, everything that's going on in their relationship, which really made it messy, which is, basically his pet peeve.
Yeah.
So how can I go meet with your family and friends over, a barbecue or something, and you've painted me out to be the devil himself?
Exactly.
It just makes for an awkward setting, so.
Exactly. And is The Price, is it considered a fiction or nonfiction?
It's considered as a fiction. Yeah.
Okay. And is as far as what you is it based on true events? Is it just loosely based on true events? Is it based on someone you know?
The main core of it is, as far as because I was in multiple relationships, and as soon as we got into a disagreement, she was on the phone.
Yeah.
So, and it just, every time I just never saw those relationships. None of them worked because it was just, I was just considered as a monster to her family and friends.
Right.
They after a while, they just not gonna like you, because the only thing they ever hear is bad stuff about you, because that's the only thing that the girl goes back and tells her family. You done done 99 good things all day, but that one bad thing, that's the one that they hear about.
Exactly.
Do you think this book is gonna help relationships?
I think it will. If people really read it, and kind of see, what the main character kind of goes through in the book, and you'll see that when he does end up meeting another young lady by the name of Rosalind, who's his mentor assigns him to a new assistant. And, if you know anything about lawyers, their shifts are 10, 12 hours a day.
Exactly.
So you're working with another young lady for that many hours, you're going to have other conversations other than work-related conversations, obviously.
Exactly.
So, I think if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing in a relationship at home, you don't really have a lot to worry about. But if you do, you're nagging and you just a straight bitch.
Yeah, real tough.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't be a bitch.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry if you got to edit that out, but you know,
Real life.
yeah.
And with that said, I know you probably seen the movie The Best Man.
Yeah,
Where that movie was based on a book that a guy wrote based on his life experiences. Some people, it was a fiction in his mind, but of course it was based on a real situation that happened to him. Is there going to be scenarios in this book that maybe somebody that you've known in your past might feel like this is Antwuan talking about me, or
maybe a female or two may feel maybe a female, yeah, because they know that they was just too, and that's one thing that a guy always says about women, but I just don't think that we know how to really tell it to them in the right way, that y'all talk too damn much, and that's really what it is. It's not really that you talking the guy to death. It's just you talking their businesses in the household to everybody. So I think that if like I was saying earlier, if you can get away with anything in a relationship as long as it stays between you and the person in the household. You know what I'm saying? But when it goes to everybody on the outside, I mean, it's just messy. So at that point, everybody knows what's going on. It's hard to stay in that relationship.
All right, with that said, and once again, Real Life Street Stars, we're here again with Antwuan Jackson. It actually seems like you are, I'm not going to say relationship guru, but you know about relationships. So I want to ask the man about, relationships as far as what you feel.
I had the luxury of not having any kids, you know what I'm saying? So, I lived in Houston for 10 years. I'm from Austin. I've been here for 5 years. So I've dated and dated and dated and dated, women from all over the place. So, it's different when I think a guy that's married and he's kind of trying to cheat on the outside. You can't really just hang with the chick for months and months on end and just have really just, night in and night out with different women. You might can do a little side chick every now and again and try to get your group, but just to really just learn about a bunch of women like that is really hard to do when you're a guy that's married with a family and with kids. But I didn't have that issue. So I was able to kind of really just kind of listen to him,
And, as far as what would you consider the most important thing in a relationship?
I think trust is the most important thing, and I'd say that's one, and probably 1A is just communication. Those they right up there with each other.
Communication and trust, you'll put those basically even kill.
Yeah. Because if you can't trust the person, then it's out the window. And if you don't know how to communicate with each other, then it's out of the window. I mean, you can't go to bed every night with somebody and y'all not really talking and saying what's wrong with each other, what's on your mind, and you don't know if she's on social media DMing each other, DMing different dudes or flirting with other guys. You can't really trust them. So it's just you got to have that.
And I'm gonna touch on that social media situation, but as far as distance in a relationship, do you feel like a long distance relationship could work?
I think it could work if one, if not both, is financially good about being able to fly or travel back and forth to see one another. You know what I'm saying? But if we both living check to check and we can't just go fly to see each other or hop in a rental car to drive,
So there needs to be like a Skype relationship can't work for a longevity time frame.
Nah, because you can't get no sex through a computer screen. You know what I'm saying? You can't get your manhood up through Skype. So you got to have that physical. So
Could arguing in a relationship be healthy?
I think it can, but not every day, and not about any and everything. If you're gonna argue with somebody, especially like take you Cash for instance, y'all are businessmen, so y'all not gonna be able to deal with a woman who's gonna be just arguing about just some bull crap every day, and you got other stuff that you're trying to get to in life at a higher level. So if you're gonna argue with me about something, let it be something solid and for real, not just something small and just ignorant. Nobody wants to hear that.
Exactly. And going into, of course, the price, the book was published when?
The end of 2013.
And with that being said, it's a book that's really rooted into the current age we live in as far as with social media and things like that.
Right.
And I know that comes into play in the book as well. How do you feel social media comes into play in relationships into this day and age, as far as even writing about it?
Social media, I think, has really, across the board, has really hurt everything.
Yeah.
Music, movies,
Yeah.
relationships. Because I mean, I can't tell you how many girls I've met from being on social media and rekindled old stuff with, or that I used to talk to and got
Hey, how you doing?
we didn't got back. So I mean, come on,
Yeah.
So it's social media plays a big part because anybody can get at anybody through social media.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you guys got girls, guys are coming on to them every day, all the time. It's now it just makes it so just you used to remember back in the day, in order to meet a chick, you had to go out of the house.
Yeah.
You got to go outside.
You got to find that paper where you wrote a number down
Yeah,
on.
you got to go to the mall. You got to go to the movies. You got to go somewhere. Now I can just be lazy, sit behind my cell phone, my smartphone, and just say what's up and like 10 of her photos.
Right.
So that's hint, but that just really just made it, just ridiculous to try to date.
Do you think living like not saying a fake life, but putting stuff on social media that ain't really what you do on a daily, or just putting out a front, is healthy to a relationship? Or when you meet somebody, like, you ain't really all that stuff you was on social media, you think that's healthy to bring someone in, or you think you should just keep it real up front?
I think you should keep it real up front, most definitely, because if you plan on ever meeting this person, they gonna see what you really about. So if you lying, it was a waste of your time and theirs.
That's definitely real. And going back into the book itself, what is your writing process as far as this book? As far as I know, how long did it take you to kind of get it from conception to actual getting it published? And what was just the process of going through making it?
The publishing part, I self-published it, so that was fairly easy. I think the most difficult part was the process of writing and editing and stuff like that. That was like like a 2.5 year process, because I wrote both of them back to back, and I didn't want to stop after I finished the first one. I wanted to keep that same mind frame, and so I kept on into the second one as well. The second one should be out sometime this year, but that was probably the most lengthy part. Is the writing part of it.
How do you self-publish something?
You got a couple of different self-publishing companies. One thing you want to go do too is, if you do try to self-publish something, self-publish a book, you want to at least go get a company and get it incorporated. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's like rule number one. Some people, they'll self-publish a book and don't have their business part of it. So it's so many companies that'll self-publish you now.
Man, I'm sitting here looking at the book, man, and I just want you to tell us about this cover, man.
The cover,
idea,
The killing part about it is, the cover that was actually what I wanted. That was not actually the book cover that I initially wanted. I got it from D Brown, the photographer, and the original photo that I wanted was a photo that he didn't have anymore. And so I said, well, send me something else, and he sent me that. And he sent me like 5 or 6 different ones of different girls, and that was the one I picked. And then I looked at it after the book had been out a few months. I said, you know what? The girl is fair skinned, which is the skin tone of the girl that Dwight ends up meeting, and she has a bottle of wine in her hand, and alcohol is involved in the book. I mean, it was just the irony. It was just, I don't know. It's right. It was just right on time. So,
and as far as even putting the book out there, as far as how people could get the book, what do you feel about like black bookstores and compared to, let's say, the Amazon half price books and stuff like that? As far as just having a full black bookstore and going from there.
I don't think it's enough of them. You know what I mean? I don't think it's enough black bookstores. I think it should be more. I know it's one that's a good distance away somewhere in Fort Worth, but that's like the only one that I know of in the DFW. I think a lot of the stores, like I got in contact with Barnes and Nobles, but if you're not with a major publishing house, a lot of these big bookstores, they're not trying to let you in. So,
what's the best book you ever read?
The best book, my favorite book that I ever read, man, I got a couple of them, but I think my favorite is probably gonna always be by a guy by the name of Dr. Romeo Taylor. Wrote a book called Exposed. That was a pretty good book.
Okay, what's Exposed about? Was it in your
Uh,
same area?
huh?
Was it in the same area that you're in with the price?
No.
Okay,
It's something else. It's like a history stuff. So
Okay, definitely have to look into that.
yeah.
And of course, going back to the book cover, do you feel like the book cover is going to attract people to the book or detract? And this is for men and women. What do you feel?
I think it'll be a lot of attraction to it. I mean, that's one of the main things that everybody gets the book, and they see it's somebody, it's like a little sexploitation going on there. But when you read the book, my book is not filled with just nothing but sex. I mean, it's just an overkill, like a lot of these TV shows, that you watch. I won't say any names, but every other episode, every other scene, in one episode is sex.
Exactly.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So my book isn't like that. Like it's real, conversations that's going on in between between a man and a woman throughout my entire book, and between fellas, so
Definitely. And just as far as going back to relationships, what do you feel is a good place to take a person on a first date, as far as a safe location that's gonna make a relationship go like a little longer than what a one night stand would be?
Me personally, I like going to some live music. Like I love Buttons. I was there last night.
There you go. Shout out to
So
Buttons.
live music, some good food. I mean, I think that's a good first date to kind of see, kind of what she's into, because you can actually conversate with her. You can have a few drinks if she drinks, food. It's a good vibe.
And if you buying a girl a drink on the first date, what kind of drink would you get her?
Would I get her? I mean, most females that I meet, you never fail with a green apple martini or something. They like that.
Keep it play.
Yeah. You never fail. They like that a lot. So I get that if that's if they give me the choice.
There you go. And of course on the cover, she has a wine bottle in her hand. I know a lot of let's say infidelities and cheating comes into play with being under the influence of either alcohol or some kind of substance. What do you feel about that, as far as alcohol being used in relationships to as an excuse for people to go outside of their relationship?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think that's used as an excuse all the time.
Yeah.
Anybody can use, man, I was drunk. I mean, you hear that all the time. I just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was buzzed. I was this. I was that. And at some point, you got to take responsibility for yourself, whether it be the guy or the woman.
Right.
But as we don't have to be drunk to cheat.
Exactly. And of course, as the book, as you were saying, as far as keeping everything in house and not letting your business go to your homeboys or your homegirls, and letting that go. As far as from infidelity, money issues, whatever reason, mama's boys, whatever reason that causes problems in a relationship, where people might go tell their homegirls or homeboys or whatever. As far as keeping everything in house, how much do you think a man or woman could take? As far as how many chances should a man or woman get messing up? Let's say the same thing happens over and over. Like
as far as leaking stuff, that's like any type of.
No, more so as far as because you seem like a person who, and I don't want to, of course, we're not supposed to book anything, but just as far as a person getting a second chance in a relationship from doing something that the counterpart didn't like, and they kept it in house. She's forgiven or he's forgiven that person in house without letting the world know. But how many times can somebody be forgiven to you?
Man, that's hard to say. I think that actually just. In so many ways, I think that kind of is just going to depend on the person. I mean, I'm the type of person, especially as a man, if we really like the chick, we'll give her multiple chances. If we don't like it that much, you get one chance. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much out of the the door. But I don't think you can give too many. You know what I'm saying? Especially if if you constantly doing the same thing over and over, and then. The relationship, of course, you got other issues that you're working on in the relationship. Plus, you're doing the same thing over and over. I mean, it's only so many, chances I think you can give, that can give a person,
Good talk. What would you say is one of the biggest mistakes a man makes in a relationship?
The biggest mistake, I think, kind of piggybacking off of what he was saying, cheating and think he gonna get another chance over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest mistake, because we always think we can come back. Well, she gonna forgive me. I was just I was tripping. But she only gonna give you so many chances to do that.
Real talking. How much do you feel like religion should play a part in relationships?
As far as like going to church and stuff like that?
Yeah, as far as just having the same beliefs. Both, some people sometimes believe in God a little bit, or some people don't. Either they might have two different backgrounds of religion. Do you feel like it conflicts with relationship, or as far as a strong, healthy relationship with this, in the same church, following the same denomination? Do you feel like that?
I think that would play a big part in a relationship, because if you're like, say we in Texas, so if you're Southern Baptist and this person over here is 7-day evangelist, and y'all are both big into your church, but you 7-day, you go to church on a Saturday. Yeah. Well, I go to church on a Sunday, and y'all, or you're Catholic. I think it would be impossible, to Jehovah Witness and you're Southern Baptist. It's just y'all have two totally different mind frames.
Real talk. And we live in a day and age to where back in the 50s, 60s, the woman's main place was more so to stay at home, be a homemaker, raising kids. The man goes out, gets the money, brings it back home. With today's day and age, women are more so commanding in the relationship, as far as being sometimes the dominant. What do you feel about the man's role in a relationship?
Man, I think it should be even. I think it should be even killed. Because I've seen, people try to be the man and pay all the bills and go to work, and then the woman stays at home. Yeah. Well, after a while, what is she doing all day? Yeah. You don't have a life. You know what I'm saying? The kids is only going to stay where you need to get them dressed every day for so long. So after that, you just sitting at the house doing nothing. Well, after a while, what are you going to do once the kids are out of the house? You haven't worked in years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no skill. Or the woman starts messing around. I seen that too. One of my friends, me, you know what I'm saying? He came home, his wife had another dude in the house. But she had nothing to do all day though. He's gone. He's at work 8 hours, 10 hours a day. So she's bored. He can't call her and text her all day long. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you got to do something. Then you want a woman that's bringing something to the table in this day and age. I don't want you to just be, kept chick. Right. I want to be able to have a conversation with you, and you tell me about your day at work like I can tell you about mine. You know what I'm saying? But if I come home, the only thing you can tell me about is, some stories, and the General Hospital or some crap, or VH1, some type of reality TV show. Because the only thing you've been watching all day. What are we going to talk about?
And just to kind of get inside your head, scenario, you come home, you open the door, you see your significant other with another man in the bed. What does Antwuan Jackson do right now?
I don't know, but I know it I know one thing. I don't have no felonies licensed, and is in the heat of the moment. You could get away with some things. I was crime of passion.
Hey, all right, that's real, man. Hey, let's flip that. Let's say you got someone else, and your significant other comes home, and you thought you could get away with it. What should your reaction be, and what do you think her reaction should be right then and there?
Well, see, I'm not that sloppy with my stuff. That would never happen. I just know where I'm gonna be at the house. I'm gonna take her to a room, or I'm gonna go to her house or something. Because in my mind,
well, let's say she found out the room you was at. Oh, she walks different. In. You love this other girl, but this is a little quick little whatever.
If I'm stupid enough to open the door of the hotel,
room service.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. If I'm stupid enough to do that, and she fools me into doing that, I'm a beg, baby, please.
Man up. He ain't got a man up on
because
that.
She could have a gun with her, a knife, anything. These women are crazy, man. So.
That's real.
But. I would think the female's reaction would be pretty bad. Yeah. Especially if she's going out of her way to find you at a hotel room. Yeah. She ain't playing.
There you
go. Fear, run, young man.
Man, I tell you, and I know you, as you said, unmarried, no kids.
Right.
Which is a blessing. As far as with men with multiple baby daddies. You know, we live in, of course, the black community where, you know,
Right.
A woman may have multiple baby fathers and things like that. Like, as far as relationship advice for women with multiple kids by multiple men, trying to find a new man in her life, let's say like you that doesn't have kids, what's the best way she could, you know, go about approaching and even inviting you into the kids' lives and the other men's lives?
Okay, so because I've dated a couple of women that have had children by other men, so I say the main thing a woman should do if she does have kids and she's no longer with the guy, she needs to make sure she works on herself. Make sure she got her stuff together for real. Because 9 times out of 10, she's going to want a guy that has his stuff together because she has a kid. She's going to need somebody to help her. But you can't be sitting up there and you struggling and expecting to land you a guy that's making, you know, 70, 80,000 to 6 figures a year, you know, and you sitting up with a kid and you're not really, you know, going anywhere in life, you know. But if you can avoid it, try to make it work out with the guy that you had your kids by.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to treat your kid the way that your father's going to treat your kid. It's just not going to happen.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to roll on the floor with your kid and do the ignorant stuff that the actual biological father, that child, would do. It's just not going to happen, you know?
Definitely. And of course, you know, we're talking about the price here. As you stated, you have the follow-up coming up.
Yeah.
Let us know as far as what do you feel like people should take most from the book, The Price, and also you as the author, what do you have coming up going forward into 2016, 2017?
Well, as far as what you should take from the book, you know, you should definitely, you know, reevaluate before you get on that phone. then tell everybody about the disagreement you just had with, you know, your husband.
Yeah.
Because, and I keep saying the female because as a guy, I'm not gonna, you know, you're not gonna get on the phone and call him and be like, "Hey man, guess what she just did, dog?"
Exactly.
We just don't do that. It's just not gonna happen.
Do it.
You know what I'm saying? That's just a female trait. They're gonna get on the phone and tell every little thing that's happening.
Right when it's happening.
Right when it's happening, or right after. You know, I'm finna go to the store. I'm finna go get some beer. Bye. She's gonna get right on the phone while you're gone and tell everybody.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I think that's the main core and focus of the book, because, you know, once you do that, after a while, because she's gonna do it again and again and again and again, the guy's gonna get tired of that. You know, you just, you know, you can't, you know, you didn't tell your mom everything that's going on in our household. Well, yeah, I can see your mom; she don't like me no more.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah. Now that's strange.
Yeah,
It's
so
very true.
but
So there's levels to that, man. There's levels to it.
as far as what I got coming up, I'm going to the American Black Film Festival. I'm gonna go to that this summer. I'm gonna take my book down there and let them, you know, check it out. So.
Definitely.
But that's the main big thing, you know, that I got coming up, and as well as the release to the part 2 of that book.
Definitely.
Any shout outs?
I give a shout out to D Brown. You know, he looked out. You know, that's what I did my photo shoot with, book cover, and so on and so forth. But you know, it's a good book. Y'all should check it out. You can go to AntwuanJackson.com. It's ANTWAN Jackson.com. You can read my bio. You can get the paperback. You can also get the link to the ebook as far as Amazon, and if you have Kindle, if you have a Nook, you can go to Barnes and Nobles and get it through there. So
That's what's up, man. I will be looking at this book tonight. You know what I'm saying? Soaking up some games. Oh, you know what it is, man. I appreciate you coming out, man.
no problem. I appreciate y'all having me.
Antwuan Jackson, Real Life Street Stars, man.
All right, thank you.